What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right, so Luka Doncic came back from, I believe it was a 3-game absence or about 1 week from whatever injury supposedly he had. He didn't catch really any smoke for, you know, his supposed injury and load management. But anyway, he came back and faced off against the Memphis Grizzlies. And he picked up right where he left off, dropping 44 points, going over 12 rebounds, and 6 assists. And so far for the season, he's averaging a remarkable 45 points per game through 3 played games. Some rarefied Will Chamberlain type stuff going on right now, man. This is stuff that we've only seen people like Will Chamberlain, Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, Bernard King at his peak, Rick Barry. Only the true great scorers have done. Elgin Baylor. The list goes on as far as up to that caliber scorer. But more importantly, they got the victory. Lakers 117-112 over the Memphis Grizzlies, and they improved to 4-2 on the year. And he didn't get much help, Luka, which is why he had to put on that type of scoring barrage. I think he was 14-27 from the floor. I think he was 6-15 from downtown. And I think he was 10-13 from the line, I believe it was. I saw. Whatever the case may be, Luka filled it up. Austin Reeves poured in 21 points, but he was only 5 of 14 from the floor, only 2 of 8 from downtown, but he was 9 of 9 at the line, and he did contribute with 4 assists. DeAndre Ayton is garbage, man. Garbage. He didn't play in the second half due to back spasms, supposedly. In the first half, he had 9 points, but what was alarming was the 0 rebounds. He had 0 rebounds in the first half. This is the starting center for the Los Angeles Lakers. And had they lost this game, he would be getting a lot more flack for that. But, they won, so people are kind of glossing over it. Rui Hachimura had 9 points for the Lakers. Marcus Smart had 12 points, 4 assists, 2 steals, a very good game. But Luka was carrying the team last night. But more than Luka's great performance, to me, was Ja Morant's troubling performance for the Memphis Grizzlies. He only had, I think, 9 points. He had 8 points, excuse me. He had 8 points for the Memphis Grizzlies, only 3 of 14 shooting. But it wasn't just the fact he had a bad shooting night. It wasn't that. And I think Blake Griffin, the recently retired Blake Griffin, pointed this out, and some other people are talking about it. He didn't really seem engaged at all in last night's game. He didn't really seem like his mind was all the way focused on the game, and he didn't contribute as a playmaker. He just didn't seem like he was really there. You know what I'm saying? And most troubling was the post-game press conference when pressed for a reason for the loss, he said something to the effect of, well, maybe the coaches shouldn't have played me, or something to that effect. When a player starts talking like that, that's when you know there's trouble in paradise. That's when you know that there's something going on where, honestly, it's like he's signaling that he wants to be moved. He's not happy to be in there anymore. He's not fully engaged. He's just going through the motions. And I think he wants to be traded, man. And I'm going to tell you something. This is just my personal opinion. Um, yes, John Morant can be an electrifying player. Yes, John Morant can be a great player, but I've noticed a downward trend, a downward slide in his performances the last couple of years. He's still putting up big, like good numbers, but I don't want to say he's playing to the level of competition, but let me ask you guys a question. How many times have we really seen John Morant light up a marquee team? How many times have we really seen that? Like, usually it seems like whenever the Memphis Grizzlies are going up against a marquee team, John Morant either has a performance where he puts up like 30 points, but he's taking 30 shots to get it, or he has a bad night. And he's thoroughly getting outplayed by the other team's marquee player. And he's arguing with officials. And, I don't know. It just seems like, well, you know what? I'm just going to say it, man. The dude's a knucklehead, man. I just don't think you can win with this guy. I don't think you can win anything with John Morant. I think he's destined to be like a J.R. Ryder type dude, man. He's more talented than J.R. Ryder, I guess. But then again, they're playing in different eras. But it's like he's just destined to be one of those type dudes, man. But anyway, going back to the Los Angeles Lakers, they win. And of course, they do it without the fraud. Okay. By the way, do you know that as a Laker now, Luka Doncic, for his career as a Laker, is averaging 29.8 points, 8.4 rebounds, 7.5 assists, and 1.5 steals. And do you know that those numbers dwarf that of LeBron's? Because that's one of the badge of honors for LeBron fans is his stats, his numbers, and how great LeBron's numbers have been as a Laker. But Luka's in this short period of time have, across the board, been better. They're better. So then, what Bron fans will then say is, oh, but Luka's playing in an inflated era. So then we'll say, okay, so then are you saying that LeBron's numbers are inflated? They'll have some excuse for that. So it's just fun. It's fun fucking with these guys, man, because they're constantly moving the goalposts and they can't stay on message because they have to lie and fudge and cherry pick. But inflated numbers or not, what Luka's doing is historic. And this team can go to the playoffs without him. And it's becoming more and more evident that they are a good team without him. And we've been saying this for quite a while. Haven't we been saying? We've been saying. How many times have I and Ticket TV and Sports and Fitness Rants and Dreamers Pro and Franchise Sports TV, I think it's the channel name. It's Franchise Media TV, I think it is. How many times have we been saying this? He's the problem. Now you're seeing it. Now, instead of being happy that the team is winning without him, reportedly he's pissed. Does that sound like a good teammate to y'all? Do you think Larry Bird was pissed that Boston was winning without him? Do you know that one time Boston asked Larry Bird to come off the bench? And this wasn't the bad back Bird years. This was early in his career. Larry Bird had been out with an injury, right? I think he had a facial injury or something, right? So he missed 5 games. I think he had a broken bone in his face or some shit. So he missed 5 games, right? And Boston won all 5 games, and they were looking magnificent. So the coach, who I think was Bill Fitch at the time, asked Bird, "Can you come off the bench?" Now, a superstar like LeBron would have pissed the bitch, but Bird said, "Sure, okay." He came off the bench. He averaged like 23 points, like 12 rebounds, 8 assists coming off the bench for the rest of the year. And Boston, actually, I think they won like 17 or 18 games going into the playoffs. He did that because that was for the betterment of the team, because they were playing so well with the lineup that they had, which didn't include Larry Bird at the time. These dudes are selfish, bro. But anyway, that's all I got to say about it. Tell me what you guys think.